All right, you guys, what's up? Welcome back. We are live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As you are logging on, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. You can also go to seanscouturecuties.com. That is also our website. What's up, guys? For those of you that are logging on Instagram, we are live on YouTube and Facebook as well. If you click the link in our bio on Instagram, you'll get over to our YouTube channel. You should be subscribed. You should turn on notifications. What's up, Jared? Yes, say hello when you log on. Happy Wednesday. Another week flying by here. What's up? What's up? And as you can see up there in the corner, we have our QR code for the Sizzling Summer Suit Sale. So if you have not gotten your package at 75% off yet, you need to. There's also the golden ticket. So the golden ticket offer gets you double of something inside the package for free. So whatever it is that you want for free. If you have any questions on the package itself, it's all there in the actual link itself. But I did go through and show some visuals as well a couple days ago, like last week. It's on my YouTube channel here too. It's also on my Instagram, so you can go take a look through that and watch that. If you have any questions about the suits or posing suits or posing or jewelry or whatever that's in it. Cool. Hey, what's up? Now, as you guys are getting on here, we always give it about 3 minutes for everyone to get logged on and see their notifications come up and all of that, and we will get rolling. And tonight, we are going to preview the package of I know, right? I know. We're doing crazy. When we do sales, we do 2 big sales a year. So we do the Black Friday sales, a big sale, and then we do the Sizzling Summer Suit sales, a big sale. And every year we get a little bit crazier. I don't know. Maybe I got a few screws loose. I've been in this industry for too long and I'm a little bit crazy like everybody else, right? A little bit nuts. Yeah. What are you going to do? So this weekend we have several shows, so I'm going to preview a few of them. I will be at the DC Pro-Am on the official live stream commentary. So if you need to purchase the live stream, go to GaryUdick.com. It is available there. I actually recommend that you purchase all the live streams that they do, and the reason why is because we do commentary for NPC and pros. So if you are a competitor looking to learn, when you get on that live stream, we are giving critiques, live feedback about the competitors on stage for the men, the women, every division. We're doing it live. So you get to listen to our thoughts. We tell you what's going on, why people are being placed where they're being placed. Myself and my co-host Leo are both, well, he's a judge still. I was a judge at one point. I'm not anymore. But have both been coaches in this industry, worked with several competitors in this industry. I've been at the judging table, so we know what we're looking at. So it's a really good, informative live feed, just like what I do here for you guys. It's just actually at the show. So again, even if you're not going to the show, if you're not interested in any of the competitors that are in it, it's a great educational resource for you as a competitor if you're trying to learn. So purchase the live stream and just listen, and you'll learn all day long. That's the beautiful part about those ones. The commentary really adds another level of depth to the show itself, really adds to it. And again, as a competitor, you get to learn a lot. So even if you're a coach, if you're a coach or you want to become a judge or something like that, it's going to really help you massively. So check it out. We'll be there all weekend. And I am going to preview the DC Pro-Am tonight. That is one of the shows that we're going to talk about tonight. But first, let's see. Let's go into, I have them all pulled up. I wanted to show this one really quickly. I don't know any of the girls on it. But note, the reason why I am doing this is because it is in Poland. Is it Poland? Yes, it's Poland. So you can see here, this is a full list of bikini pros, all from Europe and China. We got a few Chinas in there, but nobody from the US. Not a single person. Not a single person from the US here. So this sport has now become international. We know it always has been, but it's becoming more and more diverse. So I will be interested to see how this particular show goes and how the judging is rewarded. One of my friends actually reached out and asked some posing critiques on one of the girls that's making her pro debut at this show. So I did help with that. So that was kind of cool. Their standards in Europe are just a little bit different than here in the US. So I'm curious to see how this show goes. Again, we're not going to say a whole lot about it because I don't know any of these girls. But it'd be interesting to see how this one plays out. I think we need to keep an eye on the European shows, the foreign shows, because they're a part of the league as well. And just because we're really focused on stuff going on here in the States does not mean that these girls over here are not going to be competitive. So, yeah, pay attention to this one too. So I just wanted to show that one real quick. Let's go ahead and move into, we're going to do Mile High first. Now, this list is pretty decent size. Each one of these lists this weekend is pretty decent. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 girls on the list. So it's a pretty decent size list. Not super stacked with competitors that we're familiar with, but still really good competition here. Still really good competition here in the actual show. So I pulled up a few of them that I think we should be paying attention to, and I'm sure that there's some other ones on here that I'm going to miss, and that's the case. It's the case when I go to any of these shows and preview them. I probably are going to miss somebody here or there. But right up at the top there, we should be paying attention to Maya. Maya just competed again for the first time this past weekend in the Nevada State Championship, and she did well. I can't remember her placing. She was in the top call out. She was in first call out. She ended up 7th. So she was outside the top 5, but again, this was her first show back in like 2 years, something like that. So she did show a very much improved physique. From the videos that I saw with her, I felt like she was a little bit flat. So she may need to just fill out a little bit. That could have just been, I mean, she looks pretty full here. Now I'm looking at the photo, but I just saw it when I was looking at a video where she was walking to the back, and that's where I saw it from the back. This looks pretty good right here. Now, again, with this particular show, I didn't want to critique much about their tans and things like that because the lighting itself is a little bit greenish. So everybody's tan in the photos looks a little bit green. So I don't know if she actually was or if this is just, this was just the lighting. She used to wear a red suit. I like this suit, but I want to see it in different lighting and see how it's actually popping on her skin tone. Because here I don't think that this lighting is actually doing her any justice. But overall, really good frame. She is an ex-Olympian, but she put on quite a bit of size over the last 1.5 years, 2 years that she's been off stage. So this was a good look for her coming back. So I would definitely be looking at her going into the show. She could absolutely be a contender for, like a top 3 spot, that kind of thing. Let's see if we got a back shot here. Well, I can show you guys. Let's see. This was the show that has a ton of photos. All right, here's a back shot. Okay. So yeah, I mean, from the back, she actually doesn't look flat here in the photo. That was my initial thought when I saw the video. Could have just been a weird angle or something that I saw the video at. I think she actually looks pretty good here. I would still say she could still stand to pop a little bit more, in that upper outer glute. A little bit tighter maybe through the hamstring. Maybe she was a little bit soft, but I can't really tell with this lighting. I think it's pretty good. I think this pose is really good. I think the suit cut is really good. It actually rounds her glutes out quite a bit. I think overall this is a really good pose. So we'll see what she looks like when she actually gets on stage this weekend. Maybe we'll have a little bit better lighting. And then we'll be able to assess her a little bit better. But I think overall her poses are really good. And I think the improvements that she made are really good. So I'm curious to see what she looks like in this next show now that she's had a chance to kind of kick that dust off and come back out. Getting a first call out is great. Let's see if she can move up a little bit. Next one I pulled up is Malou Duarte. So Malou is a beautiful girl. She's already been placing top 5s. Her last show was Pittsburgh. Let me pull this up. There we go. the lighting in these photos is a little bit dark, so it's hard to tell really what she looks like here. But she's one that's got a very unique look. She was 9th in Pittsburgh, but she's placed top 5 and gotten really close. That was her feedback, tighter glute hamstring time. Okay, that was her feedback. Okay, so that's what it looked like. We're talking about Maya, and that's what it looked like to me, but I really can't tell from the photos much, so I don't like to say real definitively if I'm not getting good lighting on the photos. You know what I mean? So again, Malou was 9th in this particular show. So it wasn't her best placing, but I still think she looks really good regardless. I'm trying to pull that photo up. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. In this particular show, I think she was just a little bit kind of washed out through the abs, just a little off in comparison to what she typically is. But I still think she had a great package, and everybody in Pittsburgh, all the way down to that last call out, looked phenomenal. I mean, I was there in person, so they really did look phenomenal. I know it's hard to tell from this photo, but I expect to see her in the top call out here. I could see her again as another top 3 contender in this particular show. Just based on the lineup and what we're looking at, I think she could be very, very good. She's had a few weeks off to kind of relax and reset. So I'm curious to see how she looks coming in this weekend. But I definitely have her in my top 3. And then we have Ashley. So Ashley is the last one I pulled up for this particular show because she did just win Nevada, and she is the GOAT of bikini that keeps coming back and winning shows. So I know she wants to continue to tack on those wins. So I'm sure that's what she's looking to do here. We talked about her just last night, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. Probably the only thing I'd like to see change on her between that particular show and this show is the suit. Like I said before, I just like her better in red. That's me personally. I don't think this is a bad suit at all. I just like her better in red. That's just my personal opinion. I like red, period, on her. Some people, green is better. Some people, green is definitely better. On her, I like the red. So, again, this is the Ashley that we're typically used to seeing. I don't think she needs to really change much from this particular show. It'll probably come in the same. The only thing that I would say that she needs to work on at this point, I mean, she's got her shoulders look pretty good here. She definitely looks a lot better than Pittsburgh. The only thing I would like to see her change is her front pose is always a little bit wonky sometimes. This was a good front pose for her. Sometimes it's a little off. And she has this distension in her lower abs. So I don't know if that's a digestive thing or if that's just how she's built or whatever it is. That's the one thing on her frame that I would like to see improve. It's a little inconsistent. Sometimes she has it, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she goes a little bit too much with the vacuum to try to get rid of it, and it's just too much. There's just a bunch of sometimes. So that's the main thing I think with her that I'd like to see improve as far as her overall physique look is concerned at this point. And outside of that, just continue to work on the presentation, because I think that where she lacks mostly in comparison to everybody else is the fluidity of the presentation. She's gotten better. Again, she's gotten a lot better from where she was just a couple of years ago because she competes a lot and she's gotten a lot more practice in. But just continue to do it. Continue to refine it, right? We can always do better every time. So that's what I would do coming into the show. I wouldn't change a whole lot. I just go into a red suit. Hopefully that waistline would be a little bit tighter. And that's it. Continue to work. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So she would be obviously the front runner going into this show. I don't really see anybody pushing her. Maybe Malou, maybe. But I don't really see anybody taking this particular show from her. I think she'll probably win it pretty easily. So we'll see. We'll see if somebody gives her a run for her money, but that would be my 2 cents. So that was this one. Let's go to... Yeah, the judges tell her they like her posing the way it is. I get it. I understand that. But I still think that she can continue to work on it. And I think she also talks about how she feels like it's her weakness too. I don't think that she needs to change her routine. I don't think she needs to go any longer with her routine or her poses or anything like that. I just think she needs to get a little bit more natural. A lot of times it looks a little bit forced, right? And sometimes she is a little bit off on her confidence and stuff like that when it comes to her posing and stuff. There's nothing specifically wrong with her posing. I just want to see it more fluid, right? I just want to see more, almost like she's just enjoying it a little bit more. I guess that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to look at her and say she's having a great time, right? Sometimes I think she thinks about it too much, right? It's like, looks like she's thinking about opposing a lot. So get out of the head, right? So the next one that we're going to talk about is muscle contest, SoCal. This is a wellness show. So I did want to kind of cover this real quickly. I pulled up a couple of people to take a look at as far as who could be potentials. We talked about Joanna yesterday. She was top 5 in Miami, so she could be one. She needed to be a little bit better conditioned from what I could see from the photos. Again, I could be wrong in these photos because the photos were poorly lit. But from what I could see, I think she needs to be a little bit tighter. But she's one to be looking at because she was top 5 here. So definitely want to be paying attention to. And then I pulled up Anne-Marie Goebel. So we do have Toronto pictures now. So we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. And this Anne-Marie took 4th at this particular show. So I wanted to give her a little bit of a shout out because she did place top 5 in this particular show. So that does mean that she could be very competitive here at this show as well. So I wanted to kind of mention her. But as Devin said, I really think that the front runner going into this particular show is Lily. Lily. I don't know if I pronounced it right. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think it's her show to lose more than anything else. I think she should win this show. We never want to say she definitely is or anything like that. We just talked about her yesterday. I think it was really just a oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Maizan. I talked about you a little bit earlier. But with Lily, I think it's just a size game with her more than anything else. I think she's got great proportions. I've said it before. I actually really like her frame. I'd like to see wellness be more like her and not quite so big. I think that would be great. Her conditioning, I feel like, is right on. So I'm hoping that she takes this show. I think this should be her show. I don't really see anybody on the list that's going to challenge her, that's going to win over her. But anything can happen on show day. We all know this. I'm hoping that this ends up being a win for her because she's gotten so close already this season. So I'm hoping Lily takes this win. And since Maya's here, Maya, I don't know if you heard me, but I did talk about you. We just talked about the Mile High Pro. So yes, Devin, I agree. This is the look that we need. 100%. I agree. It's very attainable. It's very pretty. It's really well balanced. It's aesthetic. I like this look a lot. So I'm hoping she gets rewarded this weekend. 100%. So let's take a look at DC Pro-Am, which is our final show for this weekend. It is a busy weekend, you guys. Another one. We're like in the heat of the season here. We are in the heat of the season. So, like I mentioned, I will be at this show. I will be on the live stream commentary. So as I said at the beginning of all of this, if you purchase the live stream, the great thing about this particular live stream and any of the ones that Gary Udit does is that he has live commentary on all of them. So we do a lot of educational talking throughout the whole thing. So you get to watch the NPC and the pros, and we tell you critiques and things as the show is happening. We tell you what's going on, what they are doing well, what they could do better, all of those kinds of things. So all of that. So since you're here, Maya, as well, I mentioned, I don't know what your feedback was. I thought maybe you needed to be a little bit tighter through the hamstring. Somebody else mentioned that was your feedback. I don't know if that's what it was. And I felt like you could fill your glutes out a little bit more. That was my 2 cents on what I saw from the photos. But I could be wrong. Just if you want to type your feedback in, feel free. If you don't want to, that's cool too. But the ladies that are on live would love to hear it if you want to type your feedback in. Yes, I always thought wellness was basically bikini upper body with a bigger lower half. Yeah, I agree. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like figure muscle on the lower half with bigger glutes and bikini on the top. And the conditioning should be a little bit. Oh, look at Jessica's here. We're about to talk about you too. Everybody's here. Cardio party for everyone, right? Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like wellness has really pushed the conditioning and really pushed the size quite a bit. And I think it needs to be pulled back down. So again, going back to, I think that Lily is a great hair tighter my glutes and hamstrings. Okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, I didn't say a whole lot about your feedback, like as far as what I saw, because the lighting on the photos was so like it was a greenish looking light, so it could have been really off in comparison to what actually happened in person. But to me, it looked like you just need to be a little bit tighter. But I felt like your back pose was really well balanced. Definitely huge improvement since the last time you were on stage. So really good job. Front pose is really well balanced too. And I mentioned your suit because the lighting made everybody look green. So I don't know if the suit is better as a green suit or better as a red suit, but I'll make that determination at your next show when the lighting is a little different, because everybody's tan looked green at the Nevada show in those pictures. So we'll get a better look at what you actually look like in the green when we have some better lighting in the photos. So with that, let's get into DC Pro-Am. So this is actually one of the most competitive shows this weekend, I think, as far as the number of top competitors that are actually in this. So it's a decent sized list. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 girls. Yeah, the lighting was definitely off in the photos for sure. We've got quite a few girls here that are placing top fives. Nobody here yet is qualified for the Olympia. So we've got girls that are placing top 2, top 3, top 5, that kind of thing. So I brought up each one of those so we could take a look. First one is Maria Acosta. So we talked about her last week. She did well here at the Clash. She's been placing top 5 at each show that she's in. I really liked her package at the Clash. The one thing that I've mentioned with her is I feel like she needs some more glutes in the back. This was a really pretty look for her, though. I really liked the makeup, the hair, the suit, all of this. This is a really pretty look, really well balanced. I felt like this was a better look than what she had at New York. So I was really happy with this. I'm curious to see how she's going to look in this lineup. I think she's going to compare well. And I just hope that her glutes are full enough. Sometimes her glutes are just a little bit flat. I noticed that at New York when she did her routine, her glutes looked great during her routine. And by the time she got to comparisons, she kind of flattened out a little bit. Yeah, her front pose is great, really is. So where she needs to improve is the fullness in her glutes. Her conditioning's great, but you can see she just needs more pop. She needs more pop through her backside. If she can get that 3D pop there, she'll be really, really good from the back too. You know, she's got great shape back there. She just needs more of that come at you kind of look with the glute pop. So, but again, I see her being in the top 5. And depending on how her glutes look, she could be very, very high in this lineup. I think at some point she's going to get herself a win. It's just she's got to get those glutes to pop for herself. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Next one is Tara. So we talked about Tara yesterday. And I mentioned she actually looked a little bit too hard from the back in comparison to everybody else when we were looking at the comparison shots in that top 4 at this Nevada State Pro. But I understand why she looked that way, because I feel like she probably tried to come in a little tighter because of her front. Her waistline is a little bit thick. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to pose. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get to come down. So it's tiny enough to stand next to these other girls. Really pretty look, really, really pretty girl. I just feel like that there's a balance she's got to find where she can make that waistline super tiny and tight and keep her glutes full at the same time. Like I felt like she had good fullness, but she was just a little bit too conditioned. Like I said, when we looked at those comparison shots and you looked at her versus the other 3 in the top 4, she was just tighter than everybody else. So it's a fine line balance. I feel like her front pose is almost right, but it's not quite there. I think that her front pose was better in the comparisons than what she did here in the individual routine. But where she's going to have to figure this out is going to be the waistline. It's going to be the waistline for her. So I still think she's going to be in the top. I still think she's probably in the top 4. As long as she keeps that waistline nice and tight. She's got a great look. I don't think she's going to win this show, but I do think she's going to be in the top and she's going to be fighting for a win here. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes for her. If she can get that waistline and get that conditioning right on, she'll be right there. Adair is also competing. Adair took 2nd in Toronto, and we actually have some Toronto photos now. We didn't have Toronto photos yesterday when we were wrapping up, so we didn't get a chance to actually go through Toronto, but this is Adair right here. I saw a few photos where her front pose was just a little bit off, and I know from talking to her her coach in the past, because her coach is my coach, that they've been really working on this front pose. She has like a ridiculous back tilt, like she can super tilt her lower back, so they have to untilt her a little bit. So I feel like she's still trying to kind of find her way in this particular front pose, but overall pretty well balanced. And again, she took second place to Ellie. So I think she did a phenomenal job. I like this suit color. I can't tell if her tan is too light here. Maybe go a little bit deeper on the suit color. I'm not really sure. I like the cut from the front, but going to have to try and get her chest to kind of pull in a little bit more. Sometimes it's difficult with the implants and things like that, and they just don't want to do that. But I'd like to see a little bit, maybe a little bit more support in the top to help pull her in a little. And then that would be a little bit more aesthetic right there. Let's take a look at her back shot. So this is where I think she needs to improve, and where she lost to Ellie is it from the back. So overall, back pose is a little bit jacked up. So again, going back to this right here is coming from her front pose. I don't know if you guys have had this problem. I know I do, and I have to pay attention to it, but one of my shoulders jacks up a little bit from the way that I pose in the front pose. So guys, if you're always posing on one side, you need to be adjusting that. You need to be posing on both sides so that you can even yourself out, because just from pulling that arm around, it can actually jack up your whole back, which is what's happening right here. So we got to be careful of those kinds of things so that we can create the X frame, right? And then she needs some more pop on her upper outer glute. She's got some good 3D-ness there, but I feel like she needs to come at me a little bit more on the upper outer part. Like that whole area in the center there is a little bit shallow. We'll see if she can pull that out with some food and things like that. She looks like she's got huge glutes from the front, but then you turn her from the back and they just kind of slope. So this could be something where it's a food thing. This could be something where it's a posing thing, or this could be something where it's a muscle thing. So we'll soon find out. Sometimes you just tweak your peak week regimen a little bit and everything fills out and you're good to go. So we'll see if that happens here. I think she will probably make the top call out in DC. Again, I'm not sure that she'll be a contender for the win here, but I do think she'll be in the top call out. And we'll see how she comes in for this show. This was also her first show back in a long time as well. So, it's always kicking that dust off and that rust off the first time out and figuring out those little things that we need to do in order to make sure that the body's going to come in at its best. So I do think she's probably going to look a lot better this week than she did here in Toronto, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how she stacks up. And on the topic of that, before we go to our next one, I did want to show photos of Ellie, because Ellie did win Toronto. We didn't get a chance to really wrap this up because they didn't have photos out until today. So I just wanted to kind of give Ellie a quick shout out. She looked phenomenal here. This was her, I think, 7th Olympia qualification right here. Really well balanced, really pretty look. Fullness is right on. She's been doing very well already. Like, she looked amazing at the Arnold. She looked great in New York. So it's kind of, again, going into this show is kind of her show to lose. She did take the title at the DC Pro-Am this past year. So a lot of people were expecting her to come back and try to defend it. But I think she's smart to also just take time off at this point. She doesn't need to compete anymore because she won this and she qualified. So she can go home and relax until Olympia. I think that's a smart move on her part. She's been doing this long enough that you don't really need to get in front of the judges unless you need to get in front of the judges. And she got in front of the top judges in New York. She got in front of the top judges at the Arnold. So, there's really no need for her to continue to tax her body when she's already got feedback, right? I'm sure she already knows what she needs to do. Yep, her shape is incredible. And you can see here just from this shot alone, she's got that top pop on her glutes, all of that. That is what really makes her stand out quite a bit. Her glutes always look fantastic. Where she has an issue sometimes is her waistline. I don't think she had an issue with her waistline here. I think this was a really good package for her. She wore red in New York, which I think that's the first time I've ever seen her wear red, and I actually really liked it. But she always wins in blue. So I'm guessing she went back to the blue, which was probably a smart move. Go back to what helps you win, right? Really good back pose here. Again, I think her weakness is her waistline, so I'm sure she's continuing to work with that, trying to pull that in a little bit, that kind of thing. So, but overall, really, really good look. And like I said, obviously this was her show to lose, really going into it. So it made sense for her to now take some time off and go make some improvements to her physique and come back for the Olympia since she won. So congratulations to Ellie. I wanted to make sure I gave her a little bit of props since we didn't have pictures yesterday to go through Toronto. So, let's go back to DC. So next on the list is Jessica. So Jessica is here with us on live. I talked about Jessica last night as well. Jessica, I don't know if you heard me talking about you last night, but I felt like this was probably the best package I've seen you put on stage, probably ever, to be perfectly honest with you. I could have made an argument for you winning this show. I felt like your front pose was right on, bang on. And I will say I like you better in the pink, but that could also just be the lighting here at the show. Maybe the purple looks great in person. We already talked about the lighting in these photos not being exactly right, but I'm partial to the pink at this point. I'll make up my mind this weekend if you wear the purple this coming weekend. But I felt like the front pose was spot on, right where it needed to be. Yeah, and so on that comment about everyone's got great glutes, you can see why Ellie is on top 100%. You can see, absolutely. So again, I always think that Jessica tends to have one of the best front poses in the game anytime she gets on stage. And this show was no exception. I felt like she actually had the best pose in the front pose in the lineup. So the one thing that I said differently in regard to Jessica at this particular show was in regard to her glutes. So we're always talking about how Jessica needs upper outer glutes, right? Felt the best. Good. Well, you look the best I've ever seen. So what we talked about last night with your glutes here is this is the best I've ever seen your glutes look. Period. And I think a lot of that has to do with A, you're tighter, which was a good thing. But B, your suit cut too. I felt like you got the suit cut right, finally. This was something I know we've talked about a lot. The suit cut has always been something I kind of picked on about you. But this was perfect as far as the amount of coverage and how it actually laid on your glutes. More so than the pink. Like I said, I love the pink color, but I think the cut on this particular suit was perfect. The one thing that I said about your feedback when we were looking at comparison shots yesterday was something that I have never said about you, Jessica, was that I actually felt like you had the biggest glutes in the whole lineup. I felt like your glutes were actually too big in comparison to the other three in the top four, which I've never said about you. So I don't know what you did in the last couple of weeks, but bowing down right now. So this was, even with that, I still think that this was a phenomenal look for you. I do think this was the best look that I've seen on you. And I could have made an argument for you to win. I felt like Ashley only beat you from the back because she was more middle ground. And I actually felt like you had bigger glutes and more pop to your glutes than she did. So they kind of went for that middle ground, which is good. You should go for the middle ground. But personally, Jessica, this was the best I've ever seen you look from the back. So I personally have Jessica in the winner's circle here in DC. We will see how this goes. I'm like, I don't know what you did, Jessica, but you got to give me your secrets, because what the hell? Like, what did you do in 2 weeks? Because damn, girl, jeez Louise, I need me some of that pump. Jeez Louise. Anyway, so I have her in the winner's circle here at this particular show. We'll see how this goes. But going into it, she would be, in my mind, the front runner, especially coming off of the second place finish this past week to Ashley. I think that puts her in that winning spot right there, as far as a front runner for this particular show. And then last but not least, I brought up Marissa as well. Now, we talked about Marissa yesterday, and she came back again after a long period of time off. So food. I bet you were well, that's something too, because Jessica, you were mentioning when we were in New York that you were just eating and everything you were just dropping weight. So you needed to eat more and more and more and more. So it definitely worked for you. It definitely worked for you, for sure. So I talked about Marissa last night. and how this was a really good package, a really good look for her coming back to the stage after being off for a while. Front pose needs a little bit of tweaking just with the hand and the waistline. We talked about that last night. Maybe straighten that knee out in the front just so that we have a better balance from top to bottom with her front pose. But the conditioning is right on. The fullness is right on. This is a really good look for her coming back. So she did a phenomenal job on this, and I expect that she will get some of these tweaks worked out. And I also mentioned last night that she actually messaged me prior to my live feed, knowing that I was going to pick on her for this because her hair is touching the top of her glutes. So she sent me a video of her getting her hair cut. So she's getting her hair cut for this weekend. So once the hair is cut for this weekend, I expect this pose to be bang on. This is a really good back pose. Again, fullness is really good. Glutes are really good. The one thing I'm not sure about here is the suit cut. It might be a little bit too shallow at the top. Can't really tell because her hair is covering it. So we'll figure that out this weekend. Now that her hair will be shorter and we'll see how that goes. But I think this was a really, really good look for her. And I do see her, probably in that top 2, top 3 in this particular show. So we'll see how this goes for her. But I think she's going to be probably fighting up there for the top couple of spots. So I personally have Jessica as the front runner. But it could be anybody's game here. It can be anybody's game. We all know this. Placings can completely change from one week to the next based on how people come in, based on how they look, based on all of the environmental factors. So that's the cool thing about this sport. As much as you may be the front runner going into a show, somebody else can come in and just blow you out of the water. So you always got to be on top of your game. But it's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a really good weekend of shows. Like I said, I will be on the live stream commentary for DC Pro-Am, the actual official live stream commentary. So go to GaryUta.com to get that and listen all day long because you'll get all of our commentary throughout the day as we talk about the actual pros and we talk about the NPC as well. And while you're on here, Sizzling Summer Suit Sale right over here, that QR code right here, my suit packages are right now discounted the most you will ever get them discounted ever throughout the year. They're 75% off. So if you want to work with me with suits, posing, all of that stuff, it's all in there and it's a steal. This is the best time of year to purchase and stock up. And we do payment plans too. So even if you don't need a suit right this second, there's an option for a payment plan so that you've got that on your budget, because we know this sport's expensive, right? We know this sport is freaking expensive. So that helps you with the budget, get you everything you need to get ready for the stage. I do it all. If you don't know, I do all of the presentation details. Like I say, hair, makeup, suits, and posing, I do it all. So I will be doing hair and makeup this weekend at DC Pro-Am, even with the live commentary. So gonna be fun times. As far as hair trimming at the shows, I do that. I actually do that for the girls that book my hair and makeup services. If your hair is too long, I will trim it. I've done it several times. I had one girl who every time that she came to a show and did hair and makeup and stuff, I always had to cut her hair. And I just saw Marissa just logged on over here on Instagram. We're talking about hair trimming because I just talked about you a second ago going into DC Pro-Am. So if you ever book me for hair and makeup and your hair is too long, I do trim it. I've done it several times. Absolutely have. But hopefully that's not something that we need to do, but I'll do it if necessary. So any questions you guys have or anything you wanted to add before we go into this coming weekend? So I'm still gonna get on live tomorrow night. It's not a big travel weekend for me. It's just right to like an hour away. So it's not far. So I'll still be able to do a live stream tomorrow night as well. We'll do our prep and off-season check-in, and we'll do that one tomorrow. So for those of you that have never done this before, on Thursday nights, we go through and we talk about training and diet and all that fun stuff that I don't actually do. I don't coach, but we still talk about it. So that's what we'll do tomorrow. But anything else you guys wanted to add for this weekend shows? Anything else that you had? If you missed it, I made a reel of my talk about Starbucks versus Dunkin'. So go comment on that reel on my Instagram, on Sean's Couture Instagram. Let me know what you think about Dunkin' versus Starbucks. Like I said, if you're a Dunkin' Donuts person, we can't be friends. But with that, like I said, this Friday I will be at the DC Pro-Am, be there all weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's always a fun show. We will miss Jerry. For those of you that don't know, Jerry Ward used to be one of our co-commentators. We had 3 of us that did it all the time, and Jerry passed away this past summer. So it's going to be a little bit weird not having him there, but the show must go on, and we will definitely think about him as we go through the show too. So with that, I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Again, get on that summer suit sale. We will definitely miss Jerry. Jerry was our color commentary. He was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun having him on live. So I hope you guys have had a fantastic week so far. It's going to be a fun weekend. But again, I'll be back on live tomorrow night again, 8:15. We'll get on. We'll talk about all the prep and off season and diet and training things that we want to talk about and answer some questions. We always have coaches that come on and things like that too. Coaches come on and answers too. So it's not just me. We've got coaches that'll put in their 2 cents, and then we're off to the races for the weekend. So I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I'm going to let you all go. I'll see you back here 8:15 tomorrow night. All right. Good night, you guys.